Welcome to Tickleverse. Let's laugh and play.
Bubba Bee with yellow glow buzzed above the flowers low. He twirled in loops, then dipped with grace in blossom fields, a lovely place. Bubba Bee spun left and right through tulip petals soft and bright. He danced with bees in petal line, a ballet made of bloom and shine. Bubba Bee took center stage with daffodils as ballet cage. He lifted legs and hummed a tune while sunbeams kissed the blooms of June. Bubba Bee leapt in the breeze and bowed beside the apple trees. He fluttered fast, then turned around and never touched the flowery ground. Bubba Bee waved wings in air as lilies twirled with fragrant flare. He tapped a rose, then zipped through vines while petals cheered in perfect lines. Bubba Bee, in sunset haze, flew home from all his dancing days. Blinky the bookworm read out loud with books stacked tall like story clouds. She turned the pages one by one and read beneath the shining sun. Blinky the bookworm found a rhyme that tickled letters into time. She underlined the word balloon, then danced across the reading tune. Blinky the bookworm sang a word that fluttered like a chirpy bird. She whispered tales of dragons bold and stories full of coins and gold. Blinky the bookworm skipped through lines of sparkling stars and jumping pines. She circled moon and underlined tree and clapped for every bumblebee. Blinky the bookworm smiled with pride as story winds blew far and wide. She shared her book with frogs and deer who listened close with happy ear. Blinky the bookworm closed her page and marked her place with flower sage. She yawned and sighed in leafy bed with cozy stories in her head. Blinky the bookworm sang a word that fluttered like a chirpy bird. She whispered tales of dragons bold and stories full of coins and gold. Blinky the bookworm skipped through lines of sparkling stars and jumping pines. She circled moon and underlined tree and clapped for every. Tilly Turtle took a slide down the grassy garden wide. She giggled past the daisies tall and rolled into a leafy sprawl. Tilly Turtle touched a toe to a giggle bush that tickled so. She laughed and twirled in clover beds with butterflies above her head. Tilly Turtle tapped a shell and made the laughing daisies yell. Each step she took, a giggle grew with tickled grass beneath her shoe. Tilly Turtle met a bee who buzzed and giggled by the tree. They spun around in flower shade and tickled games the two had made. Tilly Turtle found a slide of mossy fluff and ferny pride. She zoomed and laughed with tickled joy like every shell was now a toy. Tilly Turtle curled up tight under clouds all soft and white and dreamed of tickles calm and slow on trails where happy giggles grow. Tilly Turtle found a slide of mossy fluff and ferny pride. She zoomed and laughed with tickled joy, like every shell was now a toy. Tilly Turtle curled up tight. Pickle Puff, a pancake pup, woke to butter bubbling up. He flipped and flopped with syrup shoes, danced with giggles he could lose. Pickle Puff bounced on a plate with pancake pals who felt so great. They poured some jam and chocolate swirl and spun in maple syrup twirl. Pickle Puff made breakfast fun with sticky smiles for everyone. He hopped on toast and slid on jam and jiggled like a jelly ham. Pickle Puff met eggs and fruit and sang a song so soft and cute. He made a stack that touched the sky with berries blinking up so high. Pickle Puff waved fork and spoon and wiggled to a butter tune. He laughed and clapped with all his might and pancake joy from morn to night. Pickle Puff in a napkin bed, curled with crumbs around his head. He licked his lips with sleepy grin and dreamed of syrup once again. Pickle Puff, a pancake pup, woke to butter bubbling up. He flipped and flopped with syrup shoes and danced with giggles he could lose. Pickle Puff bounced on a plate with pancake pals who felt so great. They poured some jam and chocolate swirl and spun in maple syrup twirl. Nora knew with pencil bright, jotted nature's pure delight. She wrote of birds that danced in pairs and flowers twirling through the air. Nora knew with notebook wide, skipped near bushes side by side. She scribbled notes on frogs that sang and buzzing bees and flower gang. Nora knew true leafy skies with ants in boots and butterflies. She watched the pond with cheerful smile and wrote of tadpoles for a while. Nora knew in grassy green face patterns on a ferny screen. She rhymed the wind, the bark, the dew, and painted trees in crayon blue. Nora knew found stones and moss and wrote how ladybugs would cross. She hummed a tune to chirping trees and sketched a sketch of humming bees. Nora knew by sunset light, wrote her final rhyme so right, then closed her book with sleepy cheer and dreamed of nature drawing near. Puddle puffins danced in rain with tiny boots on window pane. They sang of clouds and windy breeze and twirled beneath the dripping trees. Puddle puffins saw the sun and sang of rainbows just for fun. They clapped for snow and foggy gray and watched the storm clouds drift away. Puddle puffins spread their wings to feel what gentle weather brings. They flew through air that smelled like spring and hummed of every season's ring. Puddle puffins whistled loud when thunder growled inside a cloud. They counted raindrops one by one and laughed when puddle splashes spun. Puddle puffins love to teach what every kind of cloud could reach, from puffy white to silver gray. They flapped and flew in cheerful way. Puddled puffins dried their feet and sang their final weather beat. They snuggled in a cozy huddle and dreamed of rain in every puddle.
Rusty raccoon with tapping paw found some rocks near grassy straw. He drummed a beat on one so round and made a clappy, snappy sound. Rusty raccoon picked sticks with cheer as forest graders gathered near. They stomped and clapped in perfect time to Rusty's fun and bouncy rhyme. Rusty raccoon spun in delight, drumming through the morning light. He tapped a log, he kicked a cone with rhythm beats all of his own. Rusty raccoon made music swing with leaves that rustle when they sing. He found a shell and gave it knocks while dancing on his rhythm rocks. Rusty raccoon called out a beat and chipmunks tapped the furry feet. The forest rang with joyful sound as Rusty twirled and spun around. Rusty raccoon at end of day put all his tapping tools away. He curled beside a mossy tree and dreamed of beats in harmony.
Crayon Croc held red in hand and painted dots across the sand. He twirled with joy in orange stripe, then marched with green and leafy pipe. Crayon Croc drew sky so wide with splashes of the bluest tide. He painted clouds in curly white and sprinkled pink in soft delight. Crayon Croc stomped down the lane with yellow shining like a train. He waved his brush with purple flare and painted stars up in the air. Crayon Croc called friends to play and paint the world in bright array. They dipped their paws in color pots and painted trees with dancing dots. Crayon Croc turned walls to art with rainbow swirls and colored heart. He clapped as kids all joined the scene to paint the town in bright and clean. Crayon Croc in rainbow nest closed his eyes to take a rest. He dreamed of crayons bold and wide and colors twirling side by side.
Tango tails in leafy green bounced with monkeys on the scene. He leapt from vines with swinging grin and danced with jaguars tucked within. Tango tails led jumping games with jungle drums and leafy names. They hopped on rocks and bounded wide through waterfalls they couldn't hide. Tango tails met parrots loud, which cheered him on in feathery crowd. He did a flip on jungle swing and made the tiger cubs all sing. Tango tails and frogs in line leapt to trees in perfect time. They landed on banana sleds and raced past ferns and leafy beds. Tango tails spun fast and proud with jungle beasts all cheering loud. They clapped and stomped in leafy floor until their tails could jump no more. Tango tails in hammocks sway, yawned beneath the leafy play. He dreamed of vines and jungle breeze with jump and joy among the trees.
Tango tails, all tails. They're jumping games with jungle drums, and leafy names. They hopped on rocks, and bounded wide, through waterfalls. They couldn't hide. Tango tails, their
Mango moth flew light and free over blossoms near the tree. She heard a tune that sang her name and danced into the music game. Mango moth spun round the rose where melody like honey flows. She followed notes that floated near and smiled at every joyful ear. Mango moth met chirping frogs, singing songs on lily logs. She flapped in time with buzzing bees and drifted through the melody breeze. Mango moth skipped through the air while flowers sang without a care. She glowed with joy and fluttered near with songs were sung for all to hear. Mango moth played leaf guitars and hummed along with dancing stars. She led the birds in soft parade through every twist the maze had made. Mango moth at end of day fell asleep on music hay with lullaby.
Doodle dragon flapped with flair, searching numbers in the air. He found a 1 on apple tree and giggled softly, "Come with me." Doodle dragon peeked through 2, painted blue with morning dew. He built a nest of sticks and 3 that jingled like a melody. Doodle dragon marched past 4, danced in circles on the floor. He tapped a 5 with bubbly grace and blew 6 clouds all over space. Doodle dragon hopped on 7, pointed upward straight to heaven. He drew an 8 with curling string and flew and looped a looping ring. Doodle dragon traced a 9 with berries dipped in sugar shine. He counted 10 with wingtip grace and cheered aloud from place to place. Doodle dragon flopped down low in a nest of numbers soft and slow. He whispered each one like a song and dreamed of counting all day long.
Penny Peacock popped with cheer as kernels danced from far to near. She tossed them high into the sky and watched the popcorn flutter by. Penny Peacock led the line of popping friends in happy time. They marched through fields with buttery glee, a popcorn party wild and free. Penny Peacock wore a hat, a fluffy corn both round and flat. She skipped along the golden grass while giggles bubbled up like gas. Penny Peacock popped each step and made her popcorn friends all pep. They spun like fans and clapped in rows with kernels dancing on their toes. Penny Peacock twirled and clapped as giant popcorn gently snapped. They made a mountain tall and bright, and slid down laughing through the light. Penny Pika snuggled tight in popcorn fluff so warm and white. She yawned and blinked with sleepy smile, and dreamed of popping all the while.
Wiggly Wren began to sing while riding on the windy wing. She whistled tunes that danced in air and curled through trees without a care. Wiggly Wren flew round a bend, her whistling song would twist and send a melody so full of light it sparkled in the morning bright. Wiggly Wren met dandelions that danced like notes and windy signs. She flapped and laughed in fluffy song and carried every breeze along. Wiggly Wren soared up with pride while winds beneath her feet would glide. She sang with joy and chirped in glee, a wind born red in harmony. Wiggly Wren tapped twigs and leaves with rhythmic steps on breezy eaves. Her whistle echoed through the hill where all the birds sat calm and still. Wiggly Wren slowed down her song as twilight stretched the sky so long. She curled up warm in feathered den and dreamed of singing once again. Wiggly Wren met dandelions that danced like notes and windy signs. She flapped and laughed in fluffy song and carried every breeze along. Wiggly Wren soared up with pride while winds beneath her feet would glide. She sang with joy and chirped in glee, a wind born red in harmony. Wiggly Wren